Into our LCX coverage. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. So it says, did I hear tokenized economies LCX? Now you got to keep in mind, when it comes to this whole thing in Davos, who's the main sponsors of that? Who brings it to you? The World Economic Forum. All right. So it says World Economic Forum annual meetings, tokenized economies coming alive, date January 17th, 2023. You already see, for instance, various products, if you want to call it that. LCX, ALBT's there. I believe also HBAR. Right? HBAR is probably one of the premier ones I'm looking forward to with what they got to say. Obviously, Quant, right? They're there. There's quite a few big players that are there, right? But check this out. So it states, tokenization can allow almost any real-world asset to have a digital representation on a blockchain, hence LCX. Given its transformational potential, which sectors will see the biggest influence from tokenization in terms of resilience, innovation, and social impact? Well, let's face it, definitely LCX. Now, we have some more in regards to something that we reported a while back, but let's be reminded of this. Significant, because it's BlackRock. So as we know, back in December, BlackRock partnered with Coinbase, and Coinbase partnered with LCX. Positioning itself to be the premier exchange for tokenization of everything. Why would Coinbase want to partner with LCX? They recognize the opportunities. Yes, they're their own exchange, but it's a strategic alliance, in my opinion. All right, getting more into this. The BlackRock CEO, we did cover this a while back, but here's the key highlight. BlackRock CEO says the next generation for markets is tokenization, right? And as we know, BlackRock joined a growing number of firms backing the tokenization of securities despite the CEO's wider crypto cynicism. But here's the thing. You already draw that World Economic Forum connection. You already draw the whole connection, for instance, with Coinbase. You already see what's happening with this whole thing of what's going on in Davos, starting on January 17th and so on. I mean, that much more bullish on LCX. And I think, if anything, price is in reflection of that. How do we know that? Well, let's pull this up. So when looking through my particular list, LCX, we did have a little bit of a pullback. And you got to keep in mind, this thing was already pumping for like 2 or 3 days straight. It is pulling back. I mean, slightly up as we speak, but it's going to fluctuate. But it's at about roughly 7.5 cents. But you do see, for instance, the volume has gone down just a little bit and so on, but it's still doing a lot of decent things. But people do take profits. I mean, you got to keep in mind, this thing did a little over a 2x within the last, 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. So it's not too shabby. A little bit more in regards to this. The number of addresses as far as holders of LCX has increased to 15,906. We're about to hit the 16,000 mark. Basically, let's face it, guys. By tomorrow, this will be up to 16,000. Top 10 holders for LCX represent 24.38%. And of course, the majority are top 100 is 56.46%. All right. If you're interested in getting some LCX, of course, you can get it straight from the Liechtenstein Exchange. But on top of that, you can get it from Coinbase, Kraken. If you want to go decentralized, you go Uniswap. I was going to see if it was on MEXC. I don't think it's on MEXC. Interesting. Anyway. Yeah, the only decentralized exchange is Uniswap. So there you have it with that. A little bit more in regards to our particular coverage. Hold on. And that is this right here. Excuse me. All right. So it's this right here. Let me highlight that. So it says anyone interested in LCX needs to read this. In my opinion, you need just 10 to 20,000 LCX tokens and put it on a ledger. Now states, the mother of all LCX threads. Just hear me out. More than 1,000 hours of research and community participation. LCX will be one of the most important crypto companies in a new regulated environment. That's the key thing, a regulated environment. There is no other crypto ecosystem and exchange out there which is comparable. Top of that, look at this. He states, let's start with the basic intro, especially for all you newcomers. It says, you will understand why Monty Metzger, who is the CEO of LCX, built the company different and why the 8 licenses, which by the way is not 8, it's 9 now, are the most important part of the, to building a regulated crypto ecosystem. But check this out. With all the criticism about LCX not being regulated enough, they could be furthermore from the truth. Regulation is the foundation of LCX, is basically building on. LCX is the most regulated crypto company in the world, despite where the heck the SEC may think. But on top of that, look at this. You see, for instance, MiCA, EU crypto law, and KYC for unhosted wallets, U.S. presidential order to regulate crypto. Look at this. Slowly, my main investment thesis around LCX comes to play. No other crypto ecosystem is legally better prepared for the coming storm. And they have weathered the storm. On top of that, the LCX thread, which we're outlining for you, some of the key highlights. I'm not going to read everything. Says it explains some of the core products as well as the key partnerships. And that's one of the key things I want to share with you guys here tonight. So, for instance, you do see why their partnerships with, for instance, even Polkadot, Layer 0, right? You have Quant. You have, for instance, Chainlink, HBAR, Cello, DEG, and even LTC are very important to build a full regulated and compliant crypto and tokenization ecosystem from scratch. And again, by the way, officially recognized by the World Economic Forum. On top of that, they're building the future financial system while connecting the banking world to the Web3 world. We're literally in it. It's like a future overledger for banks. Now, you got to keep in mind, that's a bold statement. Because as we know, we cover Quant here quite a bit. More than a bit, right? A lot of you guys have came over from the recorded and here at the live. But when it comes to Quant's overledger, that is a standout operating system because, if anything, Quant is blockchain agnostic, and it is basically the network of networks, allowing interoperability at scale that nobody else is doing. But this statement, it's like a future overledger for banks. LCX, institutional and exchange, the partnerships with Quant and even Constellation DEG are a big part, I should say, of its vision. Getting further down into this, LCX is the only exchange which has the tokenized EUR. In uncertain times with stablecoins like UST, Luna's unstable stablecoin, and DAI, DPEGing, it's the safe haven. It's got a 1-1 peg, and it's even more secure to hold it on chain instead of at your bank account. Now we get it. Some people are going to do what they want, right? Different exchanges or put on ledgers or whatever the case be. But it's something to be said about what they have done and how they weather the storm of a lot of crypto winter. A summary thread of all the big partnerships announcements of LCX. And I will get into some of that right now. So in regards to this, I'll pull this up. You have this right here. And that is Quant shows, as we know, LCX as partner to enable DLT interoperability. So look at this. I'll pull that up. So this is a while back, but it's still, you got to reflect on what happened. This was all the way back on April 19th of 2021. Liechtenstein blockchain innovators LCX is excited to announce that particular strategic collaboration with Quant. But the key thing is some of the things you see here. They share, both Quant and LCX, the same vision of building a bridge between the traditional and financial markets and future blockchain-based monetary systems. Quant has built the foundation technology solution for DLT interoperability, which is important for the growth of LCX and the industry as a whole, according to who? Monty Metzger, CEO of LCX. Some of the key things before I kick it back into comments is this right here. This strategic alliance, basically, they had a scope vision on what they're going to do, but they have accomplished this, and that is Quant invited them to become the network gateway of the Overledger network. These are some of the key things you need to take away if you're trying to understand that Quant connection. Quant will integrate LCX within the Overledger network as a key partner. They've already done that. LCX will support Overledger network technology within the LCX ecosystem. LCX will list Quant on LCX's regulated cryptocurrency exchange, LCX Exchange. They've already done that. And oh, by the way, they already listed Galileo protocol, which is Leo X, as the first ever what? QRC20 token built upon what? Quant. They have joint research and development, collaboration, and explored technical and high-level issues among LCX management and the Quant management team, eventually evaluating CBDC exchange settlement. So, in closing, not as far as the show, but as far as that particular piece, here's the key thing. We've talked here at Crypto Talk now many times when it comes to understanding, for instance, the ALBT Quant connection. How about this? The Quant LCX connection. All right. Excuse me. So, if anything, if you happen to hold Quant LCX and ALBT, well, then, if anything, you can understand the significance of what's going on here soon. Be out on the lookout for what's going to happen with all three key companies with their quote unquote pitch, if you will, of what they want to share here at Davos here soon from the World Economic Forum.